Today we find out that quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, missed practice with what was disclosed as an ankle injury. Although we don't know the actual play that Young was injured on, he did finish the game against the Saints and he didn't seem to be very limited. Now, when they say a player has an ankle injury, this could mean several different things, and since some people may not be too familiar with that, I want to go ahead and focus on that with this video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Gallo, and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. And with this channel, I take a look at sports injuries, and I go over them so that they're a little bit easier to understand. I also go over what that person should expect when in physical therapy, as well as an accurate timetable for their return. If you like this content and you find it informative, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because I will be making more videos in the future regarding sports injuries, rehabilitation, and other physical therapy related content. Also, if you have any comments or questions, please leave those in the comment section below. Now, when they say a player is dealing with an ankle injury, we don't have an exact injury video to look at. It's important to know the anatomy of the ankle joint. So first of all, in order to form the ankle joint, the two long bones in the lower leg, first being the tibia, which is often associated with as being the shin bone, that's going to come down and form the inside or the medial malleolus, which is that big knob that we feel on the inside of our ankle. Then along the outside portion of the lower leg, that is the fibula bone, which is going to come down and form the lateral malleolus or the outside portion of the ankle, and that's the bony knob we feel on the outside of our ankle. Then as we look further inside the model here, we see this is our talus bone, and these three bones together make up what we know as the ankle joint. Now, there are a bunch of ligaments that contribute to the overall stability of the ankle. Let's start with the lateral or outside portion of the ankle. The first one that gets injured a lot is the ATFL, or the anterior talofibular ligament. And this is named this because it's anterior, meaning it's more on the front portion of the ankle. Talofibular, meaning that it is going to attach the talus and the fibula. Then as we move here towards the ankle, there's a ligament known as the calcaneal fibular ligament, the CFL. And then as we look on the back portion here, we have the posterior talofibular ligament, or the PTFL. Once again, this means that it's basically the posterior, meaning the back, talus, and it's attaching to the fibula. These three ligaments here are essentially going to be stressed when the person goes into a motion known as inversion, or that classic ankle sprain position. So anytime somebody goes into this, they're going to be stressing those ligaments on the lateral or outside portion of the ankle. Then as we move towards the medial or the inside portion of the ankle, this is where we're going to actually have a group of ligaments, and they group these together and just call them the deltoid ligament. And this deltoid ligament essentially is going to resist the motion that's the opposite, and that is eversion. So as somebody's foot goes to the outside, or is everted as we call it, that is going to stress all those ligaments that are located on the medial portion, aka the deltoid ligament. Then we actually have a few ligaments that are located slightly above the ankle, and these are the ones that are often associated with as being a high ankle sprain. So the first one is the anterior inferior tibiofibular ligament, anterior meaning the front, inferior meaning lower, and then tibiofibular because it's going to attach the tibia and the fibula together. Then as we move towards the back portion of the model here, we're going to have the posterior inferior tibiofibular ligament. Both of these ligaments are going to essentially attach the tibia and fibula together, and typically when a person injures these ligaments, that's when they're going to be the result of that foot planting, and you're going through a twisting motion, which is going to separate those two bones, or at least try to separate those two bones and stress those ligaments. So when we talk about an ankle injury, first of all, most likely what we're talking about here is that classic inversion ankle sprain. This is the one that happens more often than not. It happens to a lot of athletes. This is when a person is going to essentially roll their ankle up under them and they're going to come down on it, or a player is going to come down on it and have that shearing force on the lateral portion of the ankle. So when they talk about an ankle injury and they're not providing a lot of detail, usually they're talking about the lateral portion of the ankle. So that would be my first guess. Then of course would be an eversion ankle sprain, where that person is going to get their foot coming out this direction, and that's going to place a lot of shearing on the deltoid ligament. And finally, the last one will be that high ankle sprain. It's also very possible that the bones could be implicated as well, because when a person rolls their ankle far enough, whether it be inversion or eversion, that can place a lot of stress on the medial and the lateral malleolus, Right now, they're not talking about any bones being involved, whether that be fractures or anything like that. So that makes me think it's more of along the lines of a sprain. But as of right now, we don't exactly know. So since it sounds like he's dealing with a sprain, I want to go ahead and go over that grading system. It is, of course, a grade 1, 2, and 3 when it comes to these ankle sprains. In a grade 1, you're getting stretching of the affected ligament. In a grade 2, you're getting partial tearing. And finally, in a grade 3, you're getting a full rupture. Because Young was able to finish the game against the Saints, I think it's safe to rule out a grade 3, because if he had a full rupture, he's going to be having a lot of instability at the ankle joint. So as of right now, I think it's safe to say that he's not dealing with a grade 3. Usually with a grade 1 sprain, what you're seeing is that the person is going to essentially be walking with some pain. They're not really limited, but it is restricting whether they play sports or not. And this can take anywhere up to about 1 to 3 weeks to heal. I think in his case, if this is what he's dealing with, he's going to heal more on the 1 week side of things. But once again, we're going to have to wait and see exactly what he's dealing with. If he's dealing with a grade 2, this of course is going to take longer, because this does usually come with partial tearing. Usually when we get somebody in the clinic with an acute ankle sprain, whether it be a grade 1 or a grade 2, essentially we're going to run them through that acronym RICE, where R stands for rest, I stands for ice, C stands for compression, E stands for elevation, because we want to pump all that swelling and pain and inflammation out of the affected joint. Then when the person is feeling better, we can start working on range of motion, and then finally work on strengthening and then sport-specific exercises. How aggressive we are in pushing the person through physical therapy depends on the grading. And usually when the person gets a grade 3, I think this goes without saying, but because they have a lot of instability at the ankle, this will require surgery. So once again, I think it's safe to rule out a grade 3. If he is dealing with a graded ankle sprain, I think it's more along the lines of a grade 1, just because he sat out of practice. And as of right now, he's not officially been ruled out for this week. But if I happen to hear any updates on Young's case, I'll be sure to update everybody in the comment section. Also, if you happen to hear anything, please feel free to update me as well. And that's it as of right now regarding what we know for Bryce Young's ankle. I wish him the best moving forward, because he's been playing pretty well so far this year, and I would like to see him do well moving forward. Once again, if you like today's content and you want to see more of it, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because I will be making more of these in the future. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.